Welcome to Real 45 with Stefan and Greg Hancock. We vibe out and have real talk, so tune in and check this out. Yeah, today is a new day. Let's seize it now and get hype. We talking about our careers, our family, and just life. Yeah, share my story with you. Inspiration like every day. Real 45, we gon' keep it live. I keep episodes on replay. Hey, Real 45. Yeah, Real 45. Show 'em how we do it, man. Yeah.
Dig it. Yeah. Yeah, dig it. Real 45. Hey, everybody. This is Greg Hancock from the Real 45 podcast, and we thank you for listening. This is episode number 15, and I'm here with my good old buddy, partner in crime, as I keep saying, but he's not really a guy who's involved in crime, but he's sitting over there in Norrtälje. Stefan?
Hi. I'm sitting here and hello.
So we just welcome all you guys, Stefan. It's nice to talk to you again over there, and you're back in California, or back in Norrtälje, and we had a good run of episodes here while you were here, and we want to say thank you to our good friends at Titans of Dirt for pairing up with us, and make sure that you guys check them out, like them on Facebook, follow all their social media. They've got some pretty cool and exciting things coming in 2018. So do keep a lookout for that. And thanks again, Titans of Dirt, for hanging out with us and helping us to push this podcast. Today, a new day. I'd like to say, first of all, Stefan, how does it feel to be adjusted back in that cold weather in Norrtälje?
Awesome. No, actually, I miss the sun. And it has been quite rough, actually, to get back on track with the time. 9 hours is a lot of hours when you have to go back to the normal time.
Man.
It's kind of hard, actually. But now I'm back.
Normal time. I thought we were on the normal time.
I don't know. Everything get dizzy when you get home. I heard about this. What do you call it? The time lag. It has a name.
The jet lag.
I don't remember. Yeah, the jet lag. Yeah, but it was actually harder than I thought.
I think jet lag is overrated. People just use it for an excuse.
Yeah, probably. I just took a beer and everything went normal again.
All right, cool. Well, anyway, you're back home, and here we are. We're running another new episode, and we're pretty excited. Again, we're always excited, but this one is special. We are meeting our first guest from another part of the world, which is a very popular part of the world for someone like me in the Speedway career that I've led, and a guy who I've become pretty good friends with, I think. Maybe he'll say differently, but I doubt it. I hope not. And
no.
He's
beautiful part of the world. Beautiful.
Thank you. You have to say that now because I'm sitting on the other end. This guy, he's born in Krosno in Poland, and is living only about 60 kilometers away from the club that I am now riding for in Rzeszów, who I also rode for before. And the man was spent a lot of his time growing up there, and then lived in Rzeszów too, and now he's based in Warsaw. I want to welcome our good friend, who is quite a familiar name for many of you for working with NC Plus and Canal Sport in Poland, Gabriel Waliszko. Welcome to the Real 45 podcast.
Hello. Dzień dobry, good morning, welcome. Nice to be with you, gentlemen, at podcast Real 45. Hello, sunny California and cold Sweden from snowy Poland.
Hello, and welcome.
Thank you for your invitation, of course, guys.
Hey, it's a pleasure to have someone like you. We've not had too many guests from overseas. We've had a few, of course, but to have somebody from Poland, you're our first guest out of Poland. We anticipate talking to riders and other sporting personalities, but you're number one on the list, and we are so grateful that you took the time to join us.
Yeah, thank you. It's a big honor to talk with you at podcast. Cool time, I think. I try to do my best. It's first time I have used the podcast as a guest, so it will be cool. Will be awesome. Let's do it.
Hey, this is great. Like we were talking before, and you said perhaps podcasting in Poland isn't really that big or that popular to this date. Do you have any idea why that might be?
So I don't know. I try to read the many special articles in the internet, the network, or and watching the special magazine in TV, but I don't know why. Maybe it's for the future in Poland. Because I heard I listened a few podcasts, for example, sport journalists, or something people like like fashion designer, or for example, not very famous persons, but I think it will be bigger. In the future, maybe we are now like a society to open all the world to Europe, to I don't know, the new possibilities, new solutions. So we'll see. I think that it's very cool thing, because you can, for example, I don't know, running or watching something or eating, and at the same time you can listening a podcast, for example. So it's very interesting thing for the people who work in the media, or for the fans, for example, for the athletes, sports, like you, Greg.
Well, hey, it's when we think about it, when you say it like that, I mean, it's now I'm interviewing you, and you're normally the guy who's interviewing me. And a lot of the ideas and a lot of the information that we learn about riders or people in general, we learn from you guys listening to your TV programs and the questions you ask or the comments they make. So you get a lot of information from each other in that way.
Yeah, but yes,
but we have noticed that even on our listening statistics, that Poland is one of the countries that we don't get that many people. It's a very low percentage compared to some of the other countries. So now that's another reason we've been so curious. How do we get people to pay attention and listen to the podcast? Is it not interesting to them? So now we're putting all the pressure on you, because you're like our number one guest right now. So it's all about Gabriel.
For me, of course, yes. Usually I guest you, for example, in the pit, so in your house or during our broadcasting. But this time is a big change for me. But c'est la vie, like French people say. I'm ready, I think. So it's new opportunities, new challenge for me, of course, too. So of course I'm sport journalist. So in our NC Plus platform, in our channels, Canal Plus Sport and Sport Plus, we are a broadcaster of Speedway GP or Polish Ekstraliga, Football Champions League, Polish Ekstraklasa, NBA, of course, Italian volleyball, horse jumping, boxing, golf. So many sports, great emotions. Wow. We show for our viewers many cool things. So of course, sometimes you have to listen. You have to be very patient, very focused on the words which are very neat in your life every day.
Sure. Hey, I know Stefan's got some questions for you too, but while we're on this subject, NC Plus Sport, and then you have also Canal Plus Sport. Can you tell us the difference between the two? Is Canal Plus Sport something different than NC Plus, or is it all in the same?
NC Plus is the platform, the whole platform. When you have, for example, two main channels, sport channels, Canal Plus Sport is the one of the channel, and the second, for example, is N Sport Plus. Of course, we have a few other channels,
right?
Canal Plus Sport 2, Canal Plus Now, for example. So There's a few channels, sport channels for our viewers. And of course, at this platform, at NC Plus platform, we have another channels like lifestyle channels, for example, music channels, of course, for example, channels for children, of course. So it's a huge platform in our market here in Poland, in Europe, of course, too, because Canal Plus is the main headquarters is of course in France, but we have here in Poland a huge company which is very main player on the TV market, sports markets, of course, here, and so I think it's very responsibility and very reliable, creative work, because we have to be self-confident, outgoing, to do some materials, some interviews, broadcasting to our viewers how for example, Speedway riders or football players work in their life, in their professional sports. So I think it's very interesting for many people in Poland and in Europe too.
Yeah, I was just interested in your part of this. You're a reporter, is that true?
Yeah, I'm a reporter. I'm a presenter, commentator too. I have a main 4 sports. Speedway, number 1, of course.
Can you,
that's important,
in a short way, explain a week or like a day for you? Like, what are you doing on the days, daily times? What is your work?
In my work, the special days are the weekends, because if you know, Speedway competitions or football competitions, or for example, volleyball competitions, there are during the weekend. So in the from the Monday to Friday, I'm here in Warsaw in our office, in our company here, and I preparing some materials, for example, to the our sport news channel. It's a TVN. It's one of the biggest channel, not only sport channel, but biggest channel in whole Poland. So we have about 3 special programs, news program with the sport. So we have to prepare, making a special materials, of course, very short materials. It's about 3, 4, 5 minutes every day in the main daily in our TV channel TVN. And during the weekend, of course, we are going to stadiums, to many places, many cities in Poland, of course, abroad too. So it's very, very awesome and very, very magnificent, I think, work for me and for many of my mates from our company.
Cool. So you work 7 days a week then?
Yeah, sometimes I work 7 days a week. Sometimes I work 5 days. Of course, it depends. If we are during the winter, for example, now, or during the spring or summer, for example, in February, we are going to horse jumping competition. It's not very popular, but we have the special event, special competition, and of course March, April, the season of the Speedway will go to we prepare some special magazines, and we're talking about our ideas, our interviews, for example, with personalities, with riders, with players. So spring and summer and autumn is very, very hot time for us.
You guys must be completely, like, as we say, wide open, full gas for some of those months.
Yeah, it's
There's
true.
not much time to relax, right?
Sometimes
you're all over the place.
Yeah.
It's interesting because sometimes we in our busy schedules of the racing, and we're here, there, and everywhere, and racing in a Grand Prix on Saturday night, and then fly to Poland on Sunday. And quite often I see guys like Gabriel and their television crews. They're on the airplanes with us early in the morning, catching the flights to the next place, and they're doing the same thing that we are. So it's a kind of a vicious world, It's all.
Sometimes we work like Leo, Greg, because we are going to, for example, on Friday or Thursday to practice before the Speedway Grand Prix. On Saturday we have a competition. On Sunday the Polish League, of course. So sometimes about 1,000 or 2,000 kilometers from one place to the second place. And for example, on Monday we have to come back to our office, to our company here in Warsaw. Yeah, so right. Sometimes a few days when we are in long journey.
How does that work? Do you have a family?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
yeah, he has a family too.
Family.
Yeah. You have a wife, and
I have a wife. Yeah, she is a lawyer, and she supports me the most. My job, I can rely on her. Really. It's very, very, very good, very beautiful. My wife, yes, and I have a daughter, Amelia, 4 years old. She wants to be a journalist. She wants to be a journalist, so it's very nice.
Can you tell that already?
Almost. Yeah,
She has her own YouTube channel.
Yeah, almost. Maybe in the future. She was at national stadium more so at practice before SGP 2 years ago, and during the Speedway competition in Toruń and Moto Arena. So she said in Toruń, she said, "Dad, it's a terrible noise. We have to go to home." So
good girl.
He's not ready, I think, yet, but maybe in the future.
You have to give
2 years and she will be fine.
Give her some time.
Yeah.
So and your wife is a lawyer. That's good to have.
Yeah. Good to have. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You gotta have one of those on your side. That's a good thing.
Sometimes she come back to house and say something to me I don't understand. I ask him, what do you say to me, because it's like language. It's not English. It's not I don't know, French. It's law language, like the special words, special idioms. So sometimes it's hard to understand, but her language. But of course, like you said, it's good to have a wife, lawyer wife. So yeah.
She's like sitting on your shoulder like an angel, huh? Watching over you.
Yeah. Something like that.
That's cool. What is your background? How did you end up in your profession as a journalist?
It's a very interesting story, I think, because as Greg said, I come from Krosno. It's a not big city in the southeast of Poland, 60 kilometers from Rzeszów. That region is called Podkarpacie. Beautiful landscapes, amazing mountains, and good, honest, hardworking people. And
Like a lot of Poland, right?
and my father took me to the stadium in Krosno. I think for the first time. It was about 1891 or two, and he supported football players. So the first was the football, and the second was the Speedway, because my neighbors love Speedway because Hungarian riders, they were sleeping in their house. Kovacs brothers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They were local stars in Krosno from Hungary at that time. So it was the beginning of the sport.
How old were you then?
I think 11 or 12 years old. Yeah.
Okay.
It was in early 90s. So I attended football games, speedway competitions, and took place at stadium in Krosno in every weekend. Sunday 11 o'clock was a soccer, and 4 or 5 p.m. there was a speedway event. So it was a short break to eat dinner, to do homework, and after that we stood in the queue for 2 hours. 2 hours to buy tickets for speedway competition.
Wow.
For 2 hours.
Yeah. So sometimes for example, we find a hole in the fence. Because yes, we like to go without the tickets to support our idols on the pitch or on the bikes. Yeah. So and later after my school in Krosno, I moved to Rzeszów. I've studied their organization and management, and I tried to work as a journalist in newspaper in Rzeszów. So I tried to write, the article. The first was the work in the part of our additional room, the part of the city, the not sport, but only the subject with the city and the political subject, something like that. And after I with my mates, I tried to work next to the many sports events in Rzeszów at the stadium, of course, Hetmańska Street. So I started like that the work in newspaper as a journalist, and after that, in 2006, I've moved to Warsaw. My sister, she found the special invitation in the newspapers, in the internet, because the TVN, the big channel, big TV here in Poland, they are looking for young journalists, like people, and so I try to be. I went to Warsaw to a special meeting with 3 or 5 older journalists, and one of them was my boss. So, of course, I had to speak about the Speedway during the first meeting. About the Speedway.
Oh, right. That was perfect, huh?
So about Speedway, about football and boxing, I think.
Did you have an interest in boxing at that time, or did you have to learn to be a fan of boxing right off the bat?
Oh, I think that I'm interested in that time boxing, because now I haven't enough time to interested in boxing now. So yes, in that time we have sometimes meetings, for example, in Rzeszów with with good boxing sportsmen. So yes, I'm interested in that time, but the main sports, of course, was the football, speedway, and volleyball too. Because now I'm a commentator of volleyball, women volleyball from Italia, from Serie A. So yes, I remember that time in the smaller city. Of course, it's a smaller additional editorial room, and now I can work here where I am now.
Wow! Did you have to travel to Syria and
No,
places
not
like
yet.
that too?
I think maybe in future, because we have there only 3 Polish volleyball players, 3 Polish women. So maybe in the future we are going there to Italy and to make some material documentary about them.
Yeah, that's pretty fun though, huh?
Yes, but I have one special story, if I can.
Yes.
Yeah, go for it.
About my childhood in Krosno, because the best story is about my father, because during the inspection, the control of on the road, the policeman looked at documents, my father, and asked, "Are you from?" Because we had one rider, Speedway rider, in Krosno. Its name was Waliszko, like me and my father, of course.
Okay.
That this policeman looked at documents and asked, "Are you from the family of Zdzisław Waliszko, this Speedway rider?" And my father, he said, "Yeah, he's my cousin, of course." Policeman said, "Oops, apologize. Wish you well driving. Thank you very much." Of course, he wasn't this cousin, my father, but you know.
You never know. Maybe he was.
That is cool.
You have to say the special words.
Oh, that's
so.
Do you remember the first time when you interviewed Greg?
First time interview with Greg. Oh my God.
Oh, this is good. That was good stuff.
Yeah, good question. Yeah. You know, I think it was it was maybe in about 10 or 12 years ago, as a journalist, a newspaper in Rzeszów, I think maybe.
Really?
When Greg's team came to Rzeszów at the Speedway event, maybe, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was maybe Włókniarz Częstochowa, Greg. It was.
If you say in that time period, yeah, that would be about right. Yeah, Częstochowa.
2006 or something like that. I don't.
Ooh, maybe Częstochowa was a little bit later, but in that case, it could have been. Let me see. 06.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Wrocław. So I don't remember.
I think I was just finished with Wrocław by about that time, so I could have been either in Gdansk or I could have been. No, maybe it was Częstochowa, 2006.
Yeah,
I look back. Yeah, you're testing me now.
So of course, but in during the TV, of course, in NC Plus, the first interview with Greg, I think, was about 5 years ago, because we are broadcasting from Science, I think, 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was 2013, I think, somewhere in Polish Ekstraliga and Polish cities in the pits, and of course during the SGP series, and after that in 2014 in Greg house in Sweden was a long, very nice interview with Jenny, with your boys, of course, and
Yeah, that was cool.
So
Hey,
you guys have a history.
You guys did. Yeah, for sure. We go back some years, and the cool part for me too is meeting someone like Gabriel. You know, we talk with lots of journalists and people from so-called media, and it seems like there's always somebody new coming up to you saying, "I'm writing for Sportowe Fakty," and it's like these online news channels in Poland too. There's always people coming constantly, and many times you're not really sure which ones are going to tell the story that you give them, or if they're going to twist the words around a little bit, and suddenly what you said is not what is actually portrayed in the interview every single time. So you're always careful about how much you say to the reporters, and some of the reporters are so clever in how they word their questions. But Gabriel
I don't know you remember,
sorry,
because it was a very hard time for you, because it was after you're injured in Gorzów, and before the last two tournaments in Stockholm and Toruń, because
that's right.
it was the season when you were the world champion, of course, 2014. Yeah,
that's right, exactly. But what I was going to say is, like with Gabriel, I always said, just the respect was always good with him, because if I told him a story, what I thought about what I did, he always made the interview or the whatever he was writing or making the story about was always 100% correct in what I said. He never changed the story to be something different, and that as an athlete for me is so respectful.
Yeah. I learn English, my French and Italian all the time, to improve my skills all the time.
It's really good, and you develop a lot of respect for the people you talk to. So if Gabriel wants to speak to me, I always stop to speak to him, because I know that he is going to tell the same story that I tell, and that's what I like.
Yes,
anyway.
When you see my microphone in the pit, for example, you know that you have to come to me, yeah?
Yeah. I can't walk away from him, otherwise I might be in trouble.
Exactly.
That is a good thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Gab, did you play any sports in school?
Yeah, of course I did many sports, because I wanted to be a sportsman during my childhood. In my school in Krosno, I played football, like, of course, American, you say the soccer, yeah, of course, football and volleyball too, basketball, tennis, during the winter skiing, of course, riding bicycle. So many sports I tried, but my health was not enough good, so I tried to say and to write about the sport, but not to play, of course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I remember my first attempt to write the article report from sport event was of course a Speedway event. So I tried to write in details what, where, when, how, what for. So I sent the material article via internet about 30 minutes after deadline. I didn't know how it worked at that time. So I had a little problem, but it was the first time, so
That's how. Sometimes we have to learn the hard way.
Have you ever ride a Speedway bike?
Oh, maybe once I try, but it was
that in
yes,
Krosno?
I think it was in Krosno. Yeah. I think that Janusz Ślączka is a manager, as a coach in Rzeszów 2 years ago. Maybe you remember. He helped me, I think, but it wasn't a good idea because it was so fast, so dangerous. Of course, so I prefer the bike. From time to time, I ride as a passenger with my mate from work on the bike, on the motorbike, but on the speedway, I think it's too dangerous for me, and of course, I think the speedway is very hard sport. No brakes, of course, no gear, no fear. So I have a very big respect for riders, for Greg, for many riders from of course Poland. So it's you have to be a very curious man and very you have to have a very good skills, I think, and ability. So to be a speedway rider.
But Stefan has never ridden a speedway bike either, so I could see a really good television interview coming in Canal Plus or NC Plus Sport in Poland of me teaching Gabriel and Stefan how to ride a speedway bike.
we want to try, of course, no problem. In Sweden in Poland or in California, where?
Yeah, wherever you want. California would be great, right?
Oh yeah.
I remember 1 year ago in California. Yeah.
We need to speak to those people in NC Plus and see if they can fix up another trip to California, because this would be a great story.
Great. Yeah.
Then we will be sick for next coming year.
It's a pity.
But it would be fun though.
So for you, it would be really fun. I think everything would be great.
Yes, I like California. Was for me, it was a big journey to California 1 year ago, to Los Angeles, to San Francisco, to Costa Mesa, of course, in your house, Greg, and stadiums in Costa Mesa, in Ventura, gorgeous beaches, of course, famous for filming Baywatch, for example. Yeah, so palm trees, of course, delicious food like steaks or seafood. So Hollywood streets, of course. Yeah, because I'm found a special star with you, Mr. Hancock, Herbie Hancock.
That's right, Herbie Hancock.
Herbie Hancock was famous for music. Yes, right. Jazz, yeah.
Yeah, jazz.
I was there for 2 weeks ago, I think. I found my own star.
Congratulations.
I just edit my name in.
Yeah, it's nice.
He made his own star. But that, you guys had an eventful trip, huh, Gab? When you came here, it was quite fast. You had a lot of things to do in a short time.
We're going to Bruce Panel, to your sis Carrie, to in your house, in house of oh my God, I forgot the name. The
from Balboa Island.
And the Bobby Schwartz, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you went to Bobby Schwartz, and then you met my sister and did an interview
national
with her.
team of US in Ventura, Steve Evans, and yes, many places, people, and only I think 5 or 6 days. So we are very busy time, but yes, it was cool, wonderful, amazing climate, facilities, everything was very fabulous,
Yeah, and you got to see how different Speedway is over here, huh? I remember your reaction after you went to Ventura and you came to me and said, wow, this is a lot different than European Speedway.
Yeah, the climate was impressive, because, the stadium in Ventura is about, I don't know, 30 or 40 meters from the sea, next to the sea, from the ocean, not sea, ocean, of course. So So the place was amazing. The climate. You had to look the riders on the track, and 30 meters over there was, the waves and surfers, and the swimmers. So yeah, beautiful, magnificent, stories.
That stadium, that Ventura Stadium, literally, Stefan, it is on the beach. It's crazy. You walk out of the entrance of the stadium and across the parking lot, and you're on the sand.
Wow.
And it has a big effect because of the sea level, the track being at sea level. So it's the moisture coming from the ocean and the water content. The track can stay quite moist. With a lot of water in the dirt, so it stays really soft at times. So it's just one of the coolest speedway, it's not a speedway track in general, it's a car track, but it's got a lot of history for having speedway there too. And
wow, is it hard
Gabriel
to
got to
ride
see
in it
that. So
when it's moisture like that?
Well, I think they control it pretty good. It stays more moist. Sometimes they don't need to keep as much water in the material because of the sea being close. So it's not so wet, but it's a clay material there. So it can be quite sticky if they get too much water in it. And for a speedway bike, if it gets too sticky, it's almost impossible to ride. So, but they're pretty good. They know how to work the track and make it right. It's just
the air is unbelievable. The air is, awesome, amazing. The fresh air there was, I didn't feel the something like that there in Ventura, next to the ocean. The air, fresh air. So it was a climate like you were during the holidays, for example.
Yeah, for sure, huh? And you get it's fresh air there coming out off the ocean, and you get to feel the smell of the sea too. So it's we have real salty waters here, so it is a different overall feeling completely from other places around the world that I've been to.
Greg, they called the event commotion by the ocean.
The commotion by the ocean. That's right. So that was growing up. That track normally used to race on Tuesday nights for Speedway when I was a kid, and that was always Tuesdays was the commotion by the ocean, and then Wednesday nights we had San Bernardino Speedway, and that was IMS, and they called it the only reason for Wednesday nights. And then I don't remember what Ascot was at that time, but it was the South Bay. But anyway, the commotion by the ocean could be anything.
That's cool.
So that was.
I was. It was in 2014, Greg, when I was in Poland, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. You came.
Yeah, and I saw that it's really popular in Poland. There was a lot of people on the arena. So,
yeah, what the city? Where were you?
He came to Torin for the last Grand Prix when I won.
Arena, yeah.
So it's really huge there, and it's the leading league of speedway in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the league number one in the world. I think the best riders, the best salaries, the most. Many people at the stadiums. For example, Motor Arena is one of the best stadiums to racing. I think, Greg, you can say like that. The Motor Arena, the track on the Motor Arena is very good, very good for you riders to race, to catch up, for example.
Exactly. I think I've quoted it to you, and I still quote it today, that I think that the track in Torin is the best track in Speedway today for many, many reasons. Obviously, the stadium itself it's just a Speedway arena that looks like a football arena from the outside, but when you come inside, you just have this ultimate stage of a dirt track that's not so big, but it's the perfect shape, it's the perfect size. you have racing lines, 3, 4, 5 different racing lines. And if you're Darcy Ward, you have 10 racing lines, so it's the place is, you saw it yourself, Stefan. I mean, and it really is a mecca for Speedway, and any club in the world that wants to make a new track, they could take a couple of good pieces of advice from Torrent Speedway.
Yeah. If you are Darcy Ward or Tomasz Gollob, because I have to say about our legend, because he was a rider in touring, of course, too, like you, Greg.
That's right.
Of course, now we know that Thomas he flew to China to try a new treatment, try to acupuncture medicine. So we keep fingers crossed and hope he will win the most important race in his life, of course. Because he's our legend, I think, for Polish fans and the Speedway world. It's of course the legend, the icon of the SGP series, for example. So we have to keep the fingers crossed, of course, and
for sure.
Yeah. So
this was one question I had for you. It's funny that you brought this up, because I had a question to ask you about Thomas, and if you had any more. We've been reading in the internet some things about him, and every once in a while I get some information about from his manager, Tomasz Gollob, but I would like to hear from you. Yeah, his latest.
Yeah, I spoke with Tomasz Gollob a few days ago, of course, by the mobile phone, and before the flight to China, and he said that he's looking for a new possibilities, new roads to be in better shape, of course, because the pain, the very big problem is the pain, that he, in his body, of course. So maybe he have to looking for another solutions. Maybe the acupuncture in China will bring some new solutions, new medical things. So of course, I hope that everything will be okay. Of course, we have to speak about him, because, like you said about Darcy Ward, of course, yeah, it was the accident, of course, on the Speedway track, and the Thomas accident was on the motocross track. So, but of course, our thoughts and our good wishes, yes. We get to Darcy and the Thomas, of course. Yeah, but this is the Speedway. We say very often the sentence. This is Speedway. Yeah?
Well, this is
sport, of course, too.
For sure, and this is good news, and it's positive to hear that he's pursuing some other treatments. And I me personally, wish so much for that guy, as much as with Darcy too. But like, I've been racing with Thomas for so many years, and for me, he is still the most talented, amazing Speedway rider to date. Every time he's on the track, I love to watch him, because it's like watching, it's like dancing on the motorcycle in such a way that he's so smooth, and it's elegant, and it's textbook motorcycle Speedway racing to a T. He's just, the guy's unreal. I can talk about him all day long. And I was a fierce competitor with him for many years, but I learned so much by watching him, and tried to apply so many things to my own racing that he does, even though we're two completely different people altogether.
I was preparing the material documentary about you from California, and I look some the shots from GP series, you and American riders, Billy Hamel, for example, and every time almost every competitions there were Tomasz Gollob, the, many years,
yeah.
yes, and many hits, many winning, of course. So yeah, I think it's now we have a few riders. I think the legend, the most popular, the icons, the World Speedway. Of course, you, Greg, Tony Rickardson, Tomasz Gollob, Hans Nielsen, of course, Nicky Pedersen, and now we have something like change. I think the role changed, the riders, the new generation. Yeah, they became the SGP series, for example. But you come back to SGP series. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And you can look. I mean, obviously, this is the kind of thing that you're grateful that you've had a good run and that an accident has happened. So I never wanted to be given a place in the Grand Prix because I felt if I have to be given a wild card, I didn't earn my position. I didn't earn a place in the World Championship. And here I come with an injury that took me out halfway through the season. And I think, oh gosh, I've always said to myself, I wouldn't race the Grand Prix if I took a wild card spot. And now I feel like a hypocrite. But I guess an injury is the only reason I can let that slide. But so if you talk about Speedway in Poland, for instance, Gab, I mean, Speedway has come a long way from where it was, obviously, even when you were a youngster, and even before that time, really, and seeing how it is the leader in league Speedway today. Do you see it's going to continue to grow, or do you think it will reach a peak where it maybe like the stock market, it will go up to a point and then we'll have to correct a little bit?
Oh, it's hard. Yeah, I know. It's a hard question, I think, because we have the best league, yes, in the world, the best riders, of course.
Yes.
In the 90s, for example, the English league was the best, I think. Yeah, you competed, of course, there. So, yeah, you know what I mean. So, I don't know. Sometimes, maybe, I'm afraid sometimes about the leaks from the another countries, for example, Sweden, England, because here in Poland we have a very strong league, yes, beautiful stadiums, many fans, and the stands, of course. But I don't know what's the problem. So, what's the key to look some solutions in country like Sweden, for example? Stefan, why the Speedway is I think less popular than in the past? I don't know why. For England too, I think.
I have no idea. But maybe I think that the has to be more into the young guys, that more kids want to ride Speedway.
More to learn, more to
I don't know how you can put some more effort into getting more young kids starting to ride, but we have some role models in Greg and other Swedish Speedway riders, I think.
The key, I agree with Stefan there. Like the kids, the future of the sport in Sweden. I'm also worried, like you said, Gab, because there's not much going behind in Sweden in particular. They don't really have many youngsters coming up. There are some, but I think the system, me personally, I think the system needs to be fixed and regenerated to create more like you have in Poland. You have a lot of young riders coming from a young age, coming right up, getting involved in the clubs, and there's a lot of natural progression. It feels like maybe in the Extraliga in Poland, there's not enough riders to fill the number 6 and number 7 positions in the team. But there are a lot of riders, but maybe there aren't that many riders that are have the names or the ability like the Maciekowskis did, and the Pawlicki brothers and the Zmarzlik and Przepelski, and there's so many riders who have been so good and so great in some teams. They're looking for all those riders all the time, but there are a lot of riders there. However, it's so demanding in the top league in Poland now that it's very difficult to make the cut. But that's like it is in top sports too, whether it's football or basketball. It's the margins are very small when you get to the point of getting into the.
I think that the rules will be on the same level. Yeah, during the few years, I think that they try to have the same rules from long time in the our leagues. So we'll see in the future. As when you say about the young riders, so I have to say that we have a very good riders, because every year the rider from Poland the last few years, there are the best riders, young riders in the world. So sometimes I think we have a problem to connect the young riders to senior speedway, because we have in Poland, I can say only 2 speedway world champion in all our history, Jerzy Szczakiel and Tomasz Gollob. But in the young competitions, we have many world champions. So I think sometimes the problems of the things to try some better solutions, there are in the middle, the road from junior to senior speedway. And I think that your idea with these young American riders, Palmis, yes, and Colton Palmis and Sebastian Palmis. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Sebastian Palmisi and Colton
Hicks and the Polish rider Lampard, Victor Lampard, it's very very good, and so we'll see what will be the future in the tournaments and of course our league. So we'll see.
Yeah, this will be. It's gonna, like you say, there's a lot that can be learned from what you're doing in Poland, and I can see the way you guys are thinking, and you keeping the rules the same, with how they build the teams. I like that, because that gives the fans every year, they know that there's a possibility that they can have whatever rider they want. It's just a matter of the clubs working it out and the sponsors, and everything's got to fit into place. So the riders have to continue to work hard to be the best they can to earn the position. And in Sweden, they don't have anything from after the Elite Series. There isn't much following them, and that's the part that Svemo is trying to work on now, to build that and create a building block. But it has to start from the kids at sort of 7, 8, 9 years old and work its way up and give those kids the possibilities, because now there's just as many Polish riders in the Elite Series in Sweden as there is almost as there is in the Polish clubs in the Extraliga. So it's really hard. And you can look at the Grand Prix, that if they don't do something with the youngsters in other countries, the Grand Prix could potentially end up being a dominating Polish sport. Because there are so many young riders. Every year they're qualifying.
Now we have 4 riders.
Some riders.
The problem is in Speedway World Cup, for example, yes, because still don't know what city will be the final of the Speedway World Cup this year. Maybe it will be the Speedway of Nations, like two riders in one team, in pairs competing. So we don't know. We have now is January, so here is the problem. I don't know because yes, it's strange, and many cities in Poland was or will be the host of the final tournaments, for example, in Speedway World Cup. So I know that that people from BSI, they are looking for a new cities, for example. Yes, we don't know what about the last SGP tournament that in this year in Melbourne. So it's sometimes I think we should find and new locations, new places, new cities for developing to Speedway to new supporters, to new cities, to new people. Yes, the Europe, for example.
Absolutely, I agree. It's nice to see, so you don't end up in the same place all the time,
because we have all the time the same planes. We know that in the team the Polish riders probably win, so it's not very exciting, For me, of course, I'm from Poland, but for me sometimes it's like boring. So all the time Zmarzlik, Dudek, Pawlicki, Janowski. So nice, but
it's no fun to go to every event knowing you're going to win. You want somebody to give them a challenge.
In sport, you have to have a fight, emotions, of course. So sometimes I very like the surprise results in the SGP, for example, or in our Polish Ekstraliga or the first or second division. So, for example, I hope that May 27 in Krosno will be the big surprise that Krosno will defeat the Rzeszów.
I understand exactly where you're going with this, and I all I can say is we're going to give you a run for your money. But if we look at the World Championship for the World Cup like that, if our plan goes together, the Team USA is working really, really hard to get the American passport for Maciej Janowski and Victor Lampard now. So there's a good chance we might be more competitive.
Okay, so we'll see. But
okay, maybe it's almost April 1st, so I can say what I want.
I don't know what they say about this idea, but maybe it's possible.
We need a little bit more hope. We got some good riders coming through, but we need some more years for them to get the experience.
But a short question from me, Greg, if I can, have you ever started in Krosno, track in Krosno, long track, almost 400 meters?
You know what? I don't believe that I ever have been in Krosno. I don't think so. Not that I can remember.
Okay.
And if I did, it was in my very, very early years, maybe even when I rode with Leszno. But I don't recall being there. I hear many people have told me so many stories about it that I feel like I've ridden there, but I don't think I have.
It was a very long track, a black track, but now it's a new surface, new material, so it will be cool for you. I think it's like the two Costa Mesas track in Krosno.
Maybe three.
Almost 400 meters. So yeah.
Oh gosh, I I think Costa Mesa is only like maybe 120 meters or 150.
150, 60, yeah.
Cool. So, that's
so
okay.
I speak family to buy the tickets for May 27. Yeah.
That's it. Book the tickets and book your seats.
After the SGP in Prague, yeah, 26, I think, will be the Prague. Yeah,
that's right. That's right. So we have a lot to look forward to.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, we've what can we say? Now we've had a very, very fun, very interesting, cool interview with you, Gabriel. And I have one last question.
Yeah.
It's an important question. But your last name, how do you say it exactly for us English, Swedish speaking people? You say
Waliszko, yeah, it's correct. Waliszko.
Oh, yeah,
Waliszko.
First time, Greg.
Because Stan, hey, I'm good. I told you I have good teachers. I'm learning
because
Polish.
Sometimes at the airports, when I had some situation when I was late to my flight, the nice lady voice, it sounds like Mr. Waliszko, the final call, Mr. Waliszko.
Waliszko. Because and Stefan asked me before the show too. He said, "How do I pronounce his last name? Is it Waliszko? How did you say
Waliszko or Waliszko? Waliszko. I don't.
And when I started my program, for example, during the Speedway competition as a presenter studio, I say hello everybody, hello viewers, good morning or good evening, and Gabriel Waliszko, kłaniam się nisko. It's like rhyme, you know.
What does it mean? Is it lasting?
Waliszko, kłaniam się nisko, you know, and many fans, many people from Speedway environment, when they meet me to say that, oh, Waliszko, kłaniam się nisko, hello.
Kłaniam się nisko. And what does that mean in English?
Is, you know, like I say you hi, hello, very I don't know how to say.
Is it like nice to meet you or nice to? I don't know.
Nice to see you, but I'm very pleased that I meet you. You know. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So it's like you're talking to yourself.
So like your head going down. You know, when I meet you, my head going down, and I say kłaniam się nisko. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you are. Yeah, you're like a nice welcoming way of. Yeah, nice to meet you. Kind of.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
We are good.
Well, hey, we've come. Yeah. Were you going to say something? Stefan?
Yeah. I think that we are at the 45 seconds. Sorry.
Yeah.
We are, and we have this point. I think we mentioned it to Gabrielle too. That this part of the show where we ask. In 45 seconds, we ask you lots of questions, as many questions as you can answer in 45 seconds, or in 45 seconds, can you tell us something about Gabriel Waliszko that nobody knows, even though we learned a lot about you today?
About me or about Poland or about, I don't know. So what do you prefer?
Like Gabriel Waliszko, Walamska Nisko.
Tell him.
That was quite right.
You sounded perfect, Stefan. You're a natural.
Can you tell something about yourself in 45 seconds? Yeah. Okay. So let me think. 20 seconds. What can I say? Okay.
I'm ready when you are.
And if you rather, we can ask you 45, questions in 45 seconds. But maybe it's better to hear something about you.
I think that's we can start. I say something about me in 45 seconds. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds like a plan.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Start now.
So when I was a young guy, I played the guitar in during every Sunday, and after the practice in the church, I was going to the stadium, and I was watching football or speedway games and the competitions, and sometimes I was singing the songs in the stadiums during the sports competition, and then many people watching me, and they ask, "What is this? What are you doing here, and why in the stadium?"
That was 45 seconds exactly. Oh, stop. Hey, can we get some? Can we get how get a song? How did it sound?
Many songs, many songs in many languages. In Italian, for example, yes, Polish, Italian, and I think in German too. I don't remember, now I play sometimes the guitar, but it's not very often. I forgot, the songs. So maybe next time I can sing some for you.
Maybe we can get a video of it so we can post it on Instagram.
Sure.
Oh yes, we need that. It's either that or we need some photos of you playing the guitar, either in the or at the church or at the stadium when you're singing.
I have a video
some of this stuff. It would be really fun
on the special video.
Yeah. Oh, please send it to us.
We want to share this. We really want the whole world to know everything about you.
Like this singing star. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I take that as a promise.
maybe.
Yeah. Well, hey, Gabriel, we thank you so very much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure, as it always is. And, we know you're a busy man and you have a wife and family and a heavy schedule. But again, thank you for giving us this time. And we really look forward to seeing you at the beginning of the Speedway season. And of course, we'll be talking to you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah,
it was
as the time goes by.
Pleasure for me, of course. I hope that the subject and the topics, everything was okay. Look really good, and good luck for you. Take care, Greg. In California, sun is still shining, I think.
It sure is, and I hope it keeps
degrees,
shining
yes,
too.
in Warsaw -5. So life is unfair, I think, sometimes.
You're probably right, and I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to say anything more, but I do have my shorts on.
Greetings for Stefan, of course, and his athletes in Sweden.
Thank you,
hockey man, for example.
Thank you so much. It was nice to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you. It was a big pleasure.
And you take care, Gab, and we'll be talking soon.
Okay, see you. Bye. Thank you.
Yeah, Naraja, and everybody out there listening to this Real 45 podcast, we thank you again. And of course, to all the Polish fans and all the people out there who've been following me and supporting us. Thanks to Gabriel for all the great reports and good things that he says about us and our sport. All of you at NC Plus as well. And remember, check us out on Podbean, on iTunes or Acast. You can follow us there and download the episodes. Give us a review or a rating. And, of course, follow us on social media, too, at Instagram, at Real45Podcast. And, we thanks to all of you again. And we're going to see you again very soon. We got some exciting guests coming up.
Cheers!
Stefan and Greg Hancock, we vibe out and have real talk. So tune in and check this out. Yeah, today is a new day. Let's seize it now and get hype. We talking about our careers, our family, and just life. Yeah, share my story with you. Inspiration like every day. Real 45, we gon' keep it live. I keep episodes on replay. Hey, Real 45. Yeah, Real 45. Show them how we do it, man. Yeah.